The film opens at a remote Taoist temple, wherein Xia was raised and trained after being abandoned as an infant. One day, the master orders him to fight all the other monks. Whoever loses must leave the temple. Not long after, Xia easily defeats all of his fellow disciples. However, contrary to his expectations, the elders instead demand that Xia leave, believing he is already strong enough and no longer needs further training. Moreover, the master believes it is time for Xia to see the real world outside. The story continues as Xia arrives in the city. He feels confused and quickly gets into trouble because he does not know how to cross the street. By relying on his martial arts skills, he dodges the oncoming vehicles. His actions amaze the people around him, leaving them in awe. Some even toss a few coins at him. However, the money is not enough to buy even a bowl of food. As night falls, Xia becomes extremely hungry when he sees Dr. Dao Ning leaving a restaurant with a package of food in hand. Xia decides to steal it, triggering a chase. Eventually, they reach the riverbank, and while Xia manages to leap across, Dr. Dao Ning falls into the water. Without hesitation, Xia jumps in to save him. Grateful, Dao Ning gives Xia the food, and believes that Xia is innocent and pure-hearted. He decides to take Xia back to work at his pharmacy. Dao Ning lives with his wife, who does not care much about her husband and prefers socializing elsewhere. Nevertheless, she does not complain about Xia's presence, and even feels happy when Xia brings laughter to the couple. Through his innocence, during the day, Dao Ning sells medicine at the pharmacy, while also visiting patients for treatment. Xia is taught how to assist him with both jobs. Xia's martial arts skills are especially useful in distracting patients who are in pain. At the end of the day, Dao Ning pays Xia. However, half of his income is spent on buying aphrodisiac medicine from his younger brother, Dao Deng, who is failing in business. One afternoon, Dao Ning discovers that Dao Deng has sold the shop for nothing more than a diamond ring. This enrages him, as both shops are family inheritances. Dao Deng does not care at all, and even reminds Dao Ning that he himself abandoned his identity as a monk for a woman. In the end, Dao Ning walks away, and Xia chases after him to ask the truth. It turns out, Dao Ning was once also a monk at the temple, just like Xia. But one day, he saw a woman of exceptional beauty praying, and decided to follow her. Eventually, that woman became his wife, and the former monk gave up everything to become a doctor, working tirelessly to support his family. The only reason Dao Ning keeps buying aphrodisiacs is to help his younger brother pay off debts. However, Dao Deng clearly does not care about that. That evening, Xia hears strange noises and climbs the stairs to peek into Dao Ning's room. He discovers the couple having sex on the bed. Afterward, the doctor confides his worries to his wife about his brother's future, but she refuses to give Dao Deng any more money, not even a single coin. Dao Ning reassures his wife, telling her not to worry about money, because he has plenty saved up, hidden inside the wall, behind the cabinet. The next day, Xia once again goes to buy aphrodisiacs for Dao Ning, but upon arriving at the shop, he hears sounds that reveal Ngok Tran is having an affair with Dao Deng. He does not tell the doctor about it. He keeps it from the doctor. However, he later confronts Ngok Tran in person. After some time, Dao Deng breaks down in tears before Ngok Tran, complaining about his debts and claiming that he is considering ending everything. Dao Deng then gives Xia a stronger type of aphrodisiac medicine to take back to the doctor. However, when Xia returns home, Ngok Tran tries the savings hidden inside the wall. Her actions are discovered by Dr. Dao Ning himself. Ngok Tran assumes that Xia has told her husband everything. She admits that she wants a divorce, swearing that the affair is over and that she will never see the other man again. A few days later, in the middle of the night, Xia hears Ngok Tran screaming. It turns out that Dr. Dao Ning has passed away. As he bids farewell to his master, Xia recalls the doctor's promise that he would never go hungry, and that he was entrusted with taking over the pharmacy. This leads Xia to discover an empty medicine box, raising suspicion in his mind. After the doctor's death, Dao Deng shows no shame at all and comes directly to take Ngok Tran away. The two ignore Xia when he reminds them to observe the 7-day mourning ritual. Completely indifferent, Dao Deng and Ngok Tran board a boat and leave together. Along the way, Ngok Tran feels uneasy that Dao Deng shows no grief at all. She then realizes that Dao Deng has poisoned the aphrodisiac medicine. This discovery sparks a violent argument, causing the boat to rock violently and begin leaking. Eventually, The boat slowly starts to sink. As the boat fills with water, Anxia appears to rescue them. However, in that moment, Anxia is still filled with anger, remembering what they did to Dr. Dao Ning. In the end, he chooses not to save them. Anxia returns to the temple to pray and repent for his sins. The abbot discovers this and orders Anxia to kneel before the Buddha as punishment. Anxia kneels for 7 straight days, repenting until he collapses. When Anxia returns to the pharmacy, he encounters Zhao Zhelong, a martial arts disciple who possesses a special technique capable of destroying objects. Zhao Zhelong comes to the shop to buy medicine for the master he is about to challenge. Anxia is deeply impressed and secretly follows Zhao Zhelong to witness the duel. The fight between Zhao Zhelong and his master, Qian Wu, officially begins. Zhao Zhelong refuses to surrender and unleashes his special technique for a final attack. However, this forces him to admit that he has secretly practiced the sex-forbidden technique. Qian Wu is furious, yet must admit that Zhao Zhelong is more talented than his own son. Therefore, Zhao Zhelong is the rightful successor to lead the martial hall. Zhao Zhelong leaves happily, unaware of what is about to happen next. This causes both of them to fall into hallucinations, their faces swelling up. After Anxia sees Ngok Tran's ghost, he decides to drink alcohol to forget everything. With no money, Anxia and Shi Zi go to the temple to steal donation money. Zhu Shu is the monk guarding the donation chest, and quickly teaches them a lesson, defeating both of them in combat. The fight ends with their heads being slammed against the ground. Shi Zi flees in fear, but Anxia stays, sincerely apologizing and begging Zhu Shu to accept him as a disciple. However, Zhu Shu refuses. The next morning, Shi Zi tells his father everything, and Qian Wu immediately realizes that the man is Zhu Shu, whom he once trained when he was young, the one who stole his techniques. Their conversation is interrupted when Anxia arrives with the prescribed medicine. After Shi Zi quickly sends him away, he explains that Anxia was the one who told him about the temple. From that point on, Anxia and Zhu Shu begin to connect. Meanwhile, Anxia packs his belongings and bids farewell to Dr. Dao Ning's spirit. He returns to the temple and asks Zhu Shu to accept him again. Anxia proves his usefulness by sweeping the courtyard. Zhu Shu takes the broom from him, demonstrates a technique, then orders Anxia to sweep again. Soon after, a young woman approaches Anxia and says a prophecy foretold that she would meet her benefactor at this temple. Her greatest wish is to have a child. Anxia promises to help her find a way. That afternoon, Anxia seeks advice from the abbot. The abbot tells him about a secret room in the temple where monks once helped women conceive, but it was sealed long ago to protect everyone. Anxia doesn't understand why the abbot finds this ironic, but when he opens his eyes, he sees the key to the room lying right in front of him. Later, Anxia leads the woman to the room and realizes it is a place for them to share a beautiful night together. The woman refuses to give her name, saying they will never meet again. When Anxia shares this experience with Zhu Shu explains that after his old master died, he inherited the monkey fist technique and was chosen as successor. Since Qian Wu's son was too weak at the time, Qian Wu became furious and challenged Zhu Shu to a duel, forcing him to leave the martial hall. Now, Zhu Shu is merely waiting for the right moment to return everything to its rightful owner. Their conversation is suddenly interrupted when Qian Wu appears, demanding the secret manual left by his father. Zhu Shu explains that no such manual ever existed, but he recorded everything he knew in a notebook and is willing to give it up. To end their feud, Qian Wu snatches the notebook and throws it straight into the fire. Anxia rushes forward to save it, but Qian Wu immediately attacks him. Zhu Shu does not want things to escalate into violence, so he bows and apologizes to Qian Wu for fleeing years ago. He admits that he should have stayed so they could learn together. But just as Zhu Shu lowers his head, Qian Wu suddenly attacks, and a fierce battle erupts. Zhu Shu moves at extreme speed, pulling Xia away from the scene to end the conflict and leave the temple, forcing Zhu Shu to charge straight at him, causing the battle to continue. As Qian Wu prepares to unleash his ultimate technique once more, Zhu Shu realizes that the full moon has risen high. He borrows its energy to control the flowing water, forcing his opponent back. However, Qian Wu causing the river to split apart, with torrents crashing into both of them. Qian Wu takes advantage of the chaos to escape. Upon returning home, Qian Wu collapses unconscious. Shizi hurriedly searches the drawer for medicine and discovers a gun lying beside it. Meanwhile, Xia finally persuades Zhu Shu to agree to teach him martial arts techniques. Although for now, they begin only with theory about the power of nature. As a gesture of gratitude, Xia reveals that he managed to save the notebook from the flames and returns it to Zhu Shu. Later, while Xia is sleeping, he hears multiple gunshots echoing through the temple. He rushes outside and discovers that Zhu Shu has been shot. In his final moments, Zhu Shu wishes to see someone named Chai Ni one last time and entrusts him with the notebook. However, Xia does not know who that person is, so he takes Zhu Shu to see the abbot. The Grand Master explains to Zhu Shu that this is the result of karma. Only then does Zhu Shu finally understand that the cycle has come to an end. His soul departs in peace after seeing his old friend Chai Ni in his mind. Meanwhile, Qian Wu discovers that his own son was the one who shot Zhu Shu. Several days later, Xia goes down to the city after learning that has become an actor at a local theater. After the performance ends, Xia tells Chai Ni everything that happened. Even when Chai Ni visits the temple and sees the blood-stained robe with his own eyes, he still refuses to believe it, especially since Zhu Shu had never accepted any disciples before. Xia is forced to provide more details to prove his story. In response, Chai Ni shares that he had known Zhu Shu before they both joined the martial hall. They once served together in the military. At that time, Chai Ni was merely an actor drafted into service. In their first battle, Chai Ni panicked and fled, but Zhu Shu chased after him and helped him regain his courage. Throughout the war, Chai Ni wished to avenge his friend's death, and Xia suggests that Qian Wu may be the true culprit. However, Chai Ni still has another performance to complete. He steps onto the stage, only to announce the cancellation of the show. This enrages Police Commissioner Lam Twyat, who had paid for premium seats for his girlfriend. Humiliated, Lam Twyat orders his men to take revenge. The next day, Lam Twyat contacts Qian Wu to carry out a joint revenge plan. Lam Twyat pretends to arrest Qian Wu and calls Chai Ni, claiming the murderer of Zhu Shu has been captured and is being escorted to prison. He demands that Chai Ni come and witness it. Chai Ni agrees. Meanwhile, Qian Wu and Lam Twyat arrange an ambush. That afternoon, Chai Ni and Xia perform a special ritual to bless Chai Ni's spear, using Zhu Shu's blood-stained robe. Chai Ni recalls that, after years of training with Zhu Shu amid nature, Zhu Shu declared it was time to leave the cave, and for Chai Ni to return to the stage, because life requires balance. The next day, Lam Twyat and Shizi sit in their car, while their men continue the ambush. However, Chai Ni and Xia work in perfect sync, and easily defeat everyone within seconds. After that, they approach the vehicle and challenge Qian Wu to a duel. The battle begins as the two confront each other within a spiritual realm. Their skills appear evenly matched. However, Qian Wu fights dirty, ordering one of his men to attack Chai Ni. In a split second, Chai Ni suddenly leaps high into the air, using sunlight to unleash a special strike with his spear, wounding Qian Wu and pinning him against a tree. Chai Ni asks whether Qian Wu truly killed Zhu Shu. Qian Wu answers that he did it to protect his son. At that moment, Shizi appears holding a gun and confesses that he is the real murderer. This enrages Xia, who strikes Shizi and snatches the weapon away. Shizi says Zhu Shu had seen him before, but never once revealed his name, which proves that Zhu Shu wanted to end the endless cycle of hatred. Suddenly, Qian Wu grabs Chai Ni's spear and takes his own life, sacrificing himself so his son may live. He gives his life so the next generation can begin anew without the hatred of the past. Just before retreating, Lam Twyat shoots Chai Ni, prompting Xia and Shizi to chase him. However, Xia is unable to stop him. Chai Ni rushes forward, hurling his spear at the vehicle with incredible force, causing the car to explode violently. After everything is over, Xia and Chai Ni return to the mountains to continue their training, and the film ends.